Hi, and welcome to another video note for Java Software Solutions. My name is John Lewis, and in this screencast we will draw some basic shapes using the methods of the graphics class. These methods let us draw lines, rectangles, ovals, arcs, etc. I'll pull up an editor with the basic program structure in place. Note that, unlike previous examples we've looked at, this class, first of all, extends the JApplet class from the Java API. To do graphics, to draw shapes, we need a surface on which to draw them. You can draw on various components provided in the Java class library, and by extending the JApplet class, we are using inheritance to make this program an applet. An applet is a program that's designed to be embedded into a web page, but it also gives us a window in which we can draw our shapes. In other examples, in future examples, we'll see examples of drawing on other surfaces. Also note that instead of a main method, we'll rely on the paint method of the applet. The paint method draws the applet surface and is called automatically when the applet is displayed. The paint method takes as a parameter an object of the graphics class, and that represents what's called the graphics context of the applet. The creation of the graphics object is done for us. We simply use it to draw. So all of our instructions for drawing shapes are going to be in this paint method. Most of them will be done through the graphics parameter that we're calling page here. However, the first method I will call is called set background. We're setting the background color, and I'm going to set it to white. Couple things here right off the bat. Note that I'm not calling set background through any particular class, through any particular object. Therefore, I'm talking to the class I'm in, this applet, in fact. I'm setting the background of the applet. The parameter I send to the set background method is an object of type color, capital C color. Inside the color class are several predefined colors that we can make use of if they serve our purposes. And that's what we'll do in this example. So I'm setting the background to the color white. I can also set the foreground color. That's done through the graphics object. That's just called set color. And I'll initially start it at the color black. That foreground color stays in effect until we change it. Now I'll just play around with some of the methods of the graphics class. First I'll call the draw line method. The parameters in these methods are crucial in terms of what information they need in terms of being able to draw that particular shape. For a line, it takes basically two XY coordinate values from that represent the two endpoints of the line. So for instance, if I draw a line from 1010 down to 350, 350, let's say, I'm essentially drawing a diagonal line. Now, the key to understanding coordinates in any of the Java drawing situations is that the coordinate system has the origin in the upper left corner, and the X values increase as you move to the right, and the Y values increase as you move down. Alright, so that would draw a diagonal line in the color black. Before we run this, let's do something else. Let's set the color again, change the foreground color. This time let's set it to green. So I'm using various predefined colors. I've used white, black, and green now. So I've changed the foreground color to green, and now that'll stay in effect until I change it. And let's use that to draw a rectangle, which is done with the draw rect method. And in this case, it also takes 4 integer parameters, but in this case, the first 2, and I'll put in 60 and 70, represent the upper left corner of the rectangle. The next one represents the width, and I'll put in 100, and the fourth one represents the height, and I'll put in 40. Alright, so far, we'll add to this, but let's go ahead and run this as it is. Our paint method, when the applet gets rendered, will set the background to white, set the foreground color to black and draw a line, set the foreground color to green and draw a rectangle. So let's see how that goes. I will save this, bring up a command window. Now usually, well, we'll certainly start with compiling this program as normal, and that did it without any errors. At this point, in previous examples, we always submit the .class file to the Java interpreter, and it runs it right here in our command window. But since this is a graphics program that's pulling up a different window, and in particular because this is an applet, what I'm going to do to run it is submit it to the applet viewer tool, and instead of giving it the class file directly, I give it an HTML file, a regular web page file, that happens to reference this particular program, the drawonshapes.class bytecode file. Let's see this run, and then we'll pull up that file to see what's in there. Alright, I will pull down the... It appeared slightly off out of our view, so I'll pull that into where we can see it. And that's it. Nothing terribly exciting, but you'll see it did exactly what we said. It created a white background. It drew this diagonal line based on the coordinates we gave it, and the same thing for this green rectangle at those coordinates. We gave it the upper left, or rather we gave it the 2 endpoints of the line to draw the line, and in the case of the rectangle, we gave it the upper left corner and then specified the width and the height. Okay. We'll keep adding to this program a little bit and keep displaying it. Before we do that, though, let's go ahead and pull up. I will open up the HTML file. And this can be a full HTML file that has any other regular HTML code in it that you'd like. In this case, we're only using it to display this particular applet, so this is the only tag that that is of particular interest to us at the moment. It's an applet tag expressing that the code is drawn from drawonshapes.class. Notice that we give it the bytecode file as opposed to the Java source file. We also specify then the width and the height of the applet window, which is why it displayed in the size that it did.